Hello, my name is Cristel Castro Barahona and I'm going to talk about celiac disease, a gluten-free diet, and the quality of the diet. Celiac disease is a chronic digestive and immune disorder that damages the small intestine. The disease is triggered by eating foods containing gluten. Gluten is a protein found naturally in wheat, barley, and rye, and is common in foods such as bread, pasta, cookies, and cakes. Celiac disease can be serious. The disease can cause long-lasting digestive problems and keep your body from getting all the nutrients it needs. Celiac disease can also affect the body outside the small intestine.
Celiac disease is the condition that causes me to get sick whenever I eat foods that have gluten. 1 in every 100 people has celiac disease, which is not really rare at all. Gluten is a protein that comes from wheat, barley, and rye. Even if there's only a tiny bit of gluten that I can't even see in food, I still can't eat it because it could make me sick. One of the hardest things about having celiac disease is making sure these tiny bits of gluten don't get into my food. There are many ways that people with celiac disease may feel sick when they eat gluten. Some people may get belly aches. Some people may stop growing. Some people may break their bones too easily. Others may not feel bad at all, but they may still hurt their body if they eat gluten. Celiac disease affects a part of your body called the small intestine. It is a long tube that helps us digest food. The small intestine is not smooth. Instead, it has lots and lots of small finger-like projections called villi, which help you absorb nutrients. If you have celiac disease, the gluten in some food will cause the villi in your intestine to become flattened or injured. This will make you sick because your body can't use the good stuff it needs from the food you eat, and your intestines can become inflamed. But if you avoid foods that contain gluten, the villi in your intestines will heal. Your belly will stop hurting. You may start to grow again. You may feel better than before. If you have celiac disease, you should avoid all foods that have gluten in them. This is called the gluten-free diet. There are lots of good foods that you can eat that are gluten-free, but sometimes it's hard to know what foods are safe to eat. The people at the Colorado Center for Celiac Disease can help you learn about the gluten-free diet so you can feel better and live a happy and healthy life.
Application in nutrition. The only effective treatment for celiac disease is a strict gluten-free diet for life. Studies have shown that patients who take their diet very seriously not only reduce their risk of long-term health complications, including cancers and bone deterioration, but also tend to be free from stomach and intestinal discomfort. Gluten-free diet effects. Pros and cons: increased body mass index, higher energy intakes, reducing adiposity gain, moderates the risk of the associated complications. Gluten-free diet is complex and difficult to follow. Long-term gluten restriction can induce many health risks: nutritional deficiency, cardiovascular problems, and accumulation of heavy metals in the organism.
Hello, my name is Joe Murray. I'm a gastroenterologist in the Celiac Disease Program in Rochester, Minnesota. Celiac disease classically affects the small intestine. That's where literally the gluten hits the immune system. But its effects aren't limited to the intestine. And indeed, for example, the liver can be affected by celiac disease. As this was shown by a recent paper from Boston and from here in Mayo, we looked at abnormal liver blood tests in patients with celiac disease and showed that almost a third of patients with newly diagnosed celiac disease had abnormal liver blood tests. The good news was that this dramatically reduced, and more than 3/4 of these patients had normal liver blood tests, usually about a year to a year and a half after going on a gluten-free diet, showing that not only does celiac disease affect organs outside of the intestine like the liver, but also the injury, here measured by blood tests, can resolve with removal of gluten from the diet. Thank you.
Issue applied in Ecuador. In Ecuador, there are no numbers of patients diagnosed with celiac disease. For this reason, it is difficult to have a figure of the prevalence of this pathology. There are no institutions or laws that protect patient health and do not have the necessary information on how to follow a gluten-free diet. When an individual is diagnosed with CED, he or she must face relevant long-term changes. The development of disease-derived symptoms entails a biological impact, the perception of being ridden with a chronic illness. A new solution is needed for a quality of life of celiac disease patients, not for celiac disease treatment. Health education and gluten-free diet at home and in society seems to be the solution. Thank you.